Hello and welcome to this week's video. It's about something that's important to me and something that you should think about if you're working on your own startup or perhaps if you're thinking about starting a startup. When starting a business, you really need to think about what value you're creating for other people and what value your product has. And this was a big problem that I had before when I was trying to do dropshipping, because it's not really a product that's bringing value to people. Often it's not high quality and it arrives much later than expected. But also when you're doing the marketing for this product, you're kind of in a way deceiving the person who's receiving the product at the end, and you're kind of using marketing tricks to convince them to buy it. And that shouldn't really be the aim. You should be making a product or selling a product that really has an impact in someone's lives and makes it better. Because there's a lot of businesses out there that are selling something for the sake of selling it, and it's not really improving people's lives in any way. And that's not a sustainable business, because people aren't going to come back to your store or to buy your product again, or they're not going to tell their friends about it. So perhaps you can trick them to buy it one time, but then that's it. You want to build something that lasts, something that people really want to return to and tell their friends about. And that's why you really need to think long term about how your product is going to have an impact. This is a business that you want to thrive for many years into the future, so you need to look at what kind of problems we might have in the future and what kind of products could we introduce to the market to solve this problem, so that later on we don't have to deal with it. I was recently researching about Impossible Foods, and I think it's really cool what they're doing. I didn't know that the food production and meat production has such a bad effect on the environment, and they see that this problem is just getting worse and worse the more meat that we're eating at the moment. So instead of trying to convince people to eat less meat, he's trying to make something that tastes as good as meat and that meat eaters can really love. So essentially replacing the product, and by doing this it's much better for the environment and reduces emissions drastically. And that's a good example of a product that's really having a good impact in this world, and it's a sustainable business as it's really solving a problem in the future, and people will continue to buy this many years from now. And we need to realize that people most of the time aren't going to make this decision themselves. They're not going to start eating less meat or choosing more sustainable transport. It's business's responsibility to create something that makes it easy for the user to pick the more sustainable option or the better option. So we need to create products that really have a good impact but also are good for the user to use and better than the existing product. And all of this should really be done without having money as the motive, and money should really never be the motivator. It's more about the impact. There's many examples of companies that just completely getting rid of businesses off their balance sheet because they're losing money for them and they're not thinking about the impact. So recently, as an example, Uber sold Jump to Lime, which is an e-bike sharing company, and they handed over all the bikes to that company, and then instead of donating them or using them for anything else, especially in these times with Corona at the moment, they decided to trash all the bikes. And the main motive behind this was because it was better for the business to actually just destroy all the bikes. Or if you return an item back to the shop, like Gucci clothing or so on, often they also just chuck it away instead of donating it because it's bad for the brand. And these are businesses that don't really think about the impact. It's more about making money. And of course it is important to capitalize and make sure that the business can sustain itself and pay all the workers, but impact should always be the priority and not making money for the business itself. And yeah, that's kind of the point I'm trying to make with this video, is that like a business that will survive is a business that's having a good impact in the world at the moment, because it will continue to have a good impact later on, and it will be able to stay competitive this way. Regardless what sector it might be in, technology, energy or health or whatever, it should always be with the intention to be a long-lasting business, something with a really long-term goal and something that has a good impact. And this might be difficult and it might take several years to build up or to really see any physical results, but 100% in the long run this is better for the people, and people will appreciate your brand much more and see the vision behind it and understand what you're trying to do. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that short video on impact and how it's important in a startup, and hopefully that gave you some ideas for your own startup. I will be making videos on startups each week. These will come in different forms, but if you hit that subscribe button, you'll see a lot more, and I always appreciate feedback so that I can continue to improve. See you in the next one.